We need to remember how each day is itself an adventure. And the musicality of reality, in a way, is the melody line, is the melody of that adventure. It's the song line of that adventure. I have to initiate myself into my own rituals, hear the musicality of my own reality, and plumb the earthly depths to reach the very heavens. Only in this way can I understand how the bottom is the top, and the very top the bottom. Only in this way can I scale the depths that are the peaks. Standing on top, surveying the depths of my hell, I observe how the very maggots devouring my flesh are the notes of the ode which I compose to being. Yes, as I decompose, I compose the song celebrating the beauty of my death.
Yeah, the spirit of Parkdale, that's my thesis topic. Yeah. What? There's this guru. Guru of what? Some weird electronic information gathering cult?
Hey, that must be me.
What's the initiation ritual? Wow, what an ethnographic opportunity. But hold on. But he needs to be initiated into his own cult?
Yeah, maybe I need to look at my my script. Alas, poor brain, I knew it well.
That doesn't make any sense. I guess all the better for the anthropologist. Okay, well, how am I gonna find this guy? Yeah. Is this some kind of paper trail? It looks like a complete mess. It must be the spirit of Parkdale manifesting its presence to me. To me, Mr. Ethnographic B-movie researcher of the century.
And I thought I was deluded. Well, Mr. Ethno may have the method, but I have the content. I will follow him about and learn the madness of his method, and he shall learn the method of my madness, and we shall meet somewhere in between.
I must locate this guru of electronic information hunting and gathering. Am I looking in the wrong place? Is this searching in the real world a dead end? Perhaps I need to search for his presence online, but I can't succumb to doing research in the virtual world, or am I just being naive, trying to uphold the traditional ideals of ethnography? The virtual is just another field site, and a quick search online may just help me out. He was everywhere online, tons of videos of his teachings and prophecy, but what did it all mean? If only I could find a single thread to follow in all this material. And then I found something. Footage of his initiation ritual. I figured this would be a good place to start. The ritual involves an encounter with three beings, each of which represents an aspect of the guru's life that he must come to terms with. First, a triceratops represents his existential and professional failure. Second, a stone statue represents his mortality. And lastly, a reporter from the CBC represents his social failure and marginality. Along the way, we shall learn more of the guru's teachings and meet his trusty friend Jimmy Ottawa. Hopefully the footage will provide clues as to his whereabouts.
Oh, what a beautiful day. Another day in the cave, and my desire to liberate myself from the shadows of reality to come once more into the sunlight of being. I wonder what the world would be if everyone was simply reading from some damn script. The cave. Homeless on the gas range where nary is heard a discouraging word, and the charnel house burns brightly all day. As long as I live, I shall resist the charnel house. I shall think only of victory. It all depends upon me, my substance, my phenomenology. Hey, what's that Triceratops doing near my cave?
No money down, pay nothing for 90 days, satisfaction guaranteed.
You are trespassing on the property of the good.
My name is Edward Bernays, the father of public relations, and I have convinced Americans that smoking is liberating, eating bacon, waffles, raw lard, and half a loaf of bread for breakfast is healthy and manly.
Why, you scoundrel!
I have also helped the CIA overthrow democratically elected leaders in Iran, Guatemala, and Chile.
Public relations for the great imperialist power.
American is apple pie and pigskin.
Get out!
You have tried being a philosopher all your life and failed miserably. When I was young, discussing obscure ideas in some corner, it was great fun. Now, when I grew older, I gave that up. I wanted to be a useful and productive member of society.
I know. Go with the flow, no matter how polluted the flow is.
Who are you to say what is right or wrong when everything can be sold for a song?
Get out! Get out! You shall not trespass on the last bit of land upon which I sit with my last shred of integrity.
I leave you behind with your failures piled high, you foolish dreamer.
That miserable, misshapen monster is right to speak of my failures. A string of failed relationships, a failed academic career, are the very entity of a non-entity. I need to go for a walk to clear my head. Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Plato. Come, have a seat.
Thanks.
Oh, hey, Plato, you look in the dumps. Is everything okay?
I don't feel super duper today.
Hey, I'm Super Duper Man's best friend, Jimmy Ottawa. What could be wrong?
Come, let me speak of my victories against banality and insipidness. Oh, ectoplastic discharge of logocentric recalcitrance.
Oh, ectoplastic discharge of logocentric recalcitrance. You taught me that, Plato. You taught me that. I've always believed in you. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's what you could be. Isn't that what you've always told me, Plato? Isn't it?
Look, Jimmy, I've told you a lot of things. Things that everyone says in ethnographic B-movies.
I know, Super Duper Man, like life is an open system where possibilities can emerge from out of apparently nowhere. I don't know what you mean, Plato, and maybe no one else does, but it's so interesting.
Sure, Jimmy. The world will erect a monument to me, the unknown philosopher. Talk to you later, Jimmy. I'm gonna look for my monument.
Okay, Plato, well, I hope you feel better. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Thanks.
Watching Plato really gave me a sense of his confrontation with his failures. Yet even though he was dejected, I could still sense the vitality of his purpose. The world has beaten him down and back into his cave. Yet as I kept watching his videos, I was inspired by his desire to generate knowledge despite his failures.
Oh, what is the way? What is the way? What and how do these ancient classical arts of the Greeks speak to us now? Speak to me, I who call myself Plato. What is the way? Where are we coming from? What ground are we upon? And what is our destination? These are the questions the Greeks asked in charting their way into what we would call history, the root of which is historia, or inquiry. So where do we come from? We come from this confused mass of people sitting in the cave, chained by conventional thoughts, taking the mere shadows on the walls before them, the conditions and conventions of their immediate existence, as reality itself, not seeing the objects to the side because they cannot see the light behind them, which produces these images that they take for reality itself. So that's where we're coming from this confusion of images of reality with reality. But that's the thing, isn't it, though? Isn't it, my friend Plato? Talking to myself, my alter ego. Isn't that the thing? The word reality means thing in Latin, R-E-S, res. The republic, the public thing. So we come from this confusion and we attempt to wrench our necks out of conventional chains that hold us to these images. And in doing so, we go upon the way of our own thoughts, of our own independent thinking about the nature of reality. And in that dark, dark night of the cave and of the soul, we commune with ourselves. We commune with our despair. We commune with our mortality. We commune with our darkness through striving to turn the dark into light, through the striving of illuminating that fear and apprehension that so enslaves us to the images on the cave wall. Am I a success? Am I a failure? Tell me, stones, tell me, what is the answer? In what sense, I suppose, oh stones, I am a failure, never being a successful, middle-class, Jewish, lawyer, rabbi, or something or another. Never. But that to me has never been success. That to me success is being in tune with the musicality of reality. So tell me, my friend, are we going to continue to remain frozen in stone, deaf to the musicality of reality, and call that success when it's nothing but abject failure? Or shall we not, my friend, play our lyre and hear the vibrancy of the present sounding throughout all that is?
Hello, Plato.
What? Who's that or what's that?
It is I talking to you. I am the music.
So who are you and what are you doing here and what are you trying to do? Rob me of my sanity?
No, I am here because rumor has it that you wanted to cross over to the other side.
Yeah, it's true. I sent my friends a letter with an email with the subject line. It's time to kill myself.
Yes, I saw that email.
Well, I've been feeling a bit discouraged. One rejected manuscript after another. And here's the latest. I regret to inform you that will not be accepting the manuscript. The story seems jumpy. I'm not sure how one thing is leading into another. The main character rambles too much. Goes on long tangents that distract from the plot.
You have good ideas, Plato. You might try to popularize them.
How?
I leave that to your imagination.
Managing the heavy weight of failure was a big part of Plato's identity. He was confronted by it constantly in his desire to be published and his daily life. We see this in the next stage of the initiation ritual, when his marginal position further diminished his agency to be anything but the sum of his past.
We're rolling here yet. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with, sorry, what's your name, sir?
Plato.
Hi, Plato. This is Eager Edgar Youngbright with the CBC Toronto. And we're doing a feature on homelessness, the unhoused, sleeping rough, precarious living in central Toronto. And we're going to do a candid interview, but I've got this script if you would kindly follow it. It'll help kind of speak in plain terms to our audience. It's a bit of a confusing and contentious issue, and we don't want anyone to be confused or contended.
Well, first of all, I want to welcome you to my cave. As you can see, my substantive mansion in the air.
quite a spot, Plato. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you end up living here?
Well, about 9 years ago, I had a professorship, and I started flirting with ideas, like quantum physics and different particles, and clipping in on sofas and couches and going back to flats. I did that for 2 or 3 years. The quantum calculations performed in the neural microtubules under conditions of aharmonic oscillation.
Do you mind, sorry, what's your name again? Paul? Plates?
Plato.
Plato, sorry, Plato. That's not what, you're too academic, Plato. You're too academic. We want just straightforward answers. Okay, come on, try again, please.
All right, yeah. Well, it sort of sounds like how much I made the night before. I mean, how many connections you make between the interpretive demands of subjective and perceptivity and the dialective language and conscious. I mean...
Okay, hold on. Listen, I'm kind of sketched out being down here, okay? I'm really going out of my way to interview you, and you're talking academic. I'd like you to just talk normal. I don't have a lot of time, okay? I'm feeling anxious and stressed out. Can you just please talk to me normally?
I go to the places like you get these restaurants across the road, these semi-condensations of need that under conditions of data fall become desired with consequences for the work of articulation, identifying the semiotic code that really articulates the very basic sense of our reality under conditions of the horizon line of its ontological and epistemological implications.
Hey, I don't care what you think, what you have to say from your own perspective. I need you to be a certain type of person for this show that I'm risking my neck to do. Okay? Give me this. Okay? Please just follow the script.
Sure. Right. Well, let me say, living free is really, no way to live. I mean, you make something for the night and then your money, like they say, is gone the next morning. It's a parallel for the transformation of the neoliberal state of levering its exigencies to expose its vulnerabilities. That's the point of waging a war of possession as opposed to war of movement in the age of electronic gathering, hunting information.
Okay, stop. We're done. Listen, I went out on a limb, and now I'm out of here, okay? You're not even a real homeless person, you're academic. Goodbye.
I finally find a place from one of the videos, but he's not here. I've been following his initiation ritual and feel that I know him in some way, but it's not enough. I write notes about what I know so far about his ideas, and yet I start thinking that maybe I should switch focus for my fieldwork instead. I think about that, what else I could do, while I continue to watch his videos online.
Every time that even the faintest thought of compromising my intelligence and going with the flow and accepting what most people think because, it might get me somewhere socially, I've always refused with the greatest of disgust. So, why do I do what I do? Why does a thinker think? Sort of like, why does the tide come in? Because it has to. That's its nature. And the only difference, I suppose, with human beings, as opposed to a tide or a rock, is that of dramatic intensity. We are most dramatically and intensely driven to be what we are. And our only choice is really to accept that and to be that with all of its discomfort and agony. Or somehow try not to be that and suffer even more agony and die ignominiously. So in other words, the choice is between death, which is the face of the beautiful because you turn your sufferings into the very meaning of your life and therefore come to the condign and truly worthy end, which is death, and which is therefore beautiful. So the beautiful is the face of death. Or you simply crack up and into 1,000 fragments, and simply expire and hate yourself every minute of your existence. So, while I may be discomforted by being on the margins of society, I can view my position with integrity and dignity and take pride in my being and choosing to be what it is I am. This is Plato, the philosopher, signing out.
Terrified of failing this project, this meaningless project, this endless, meaningless ethnography. I need to find something.
What am I even doing? Been in this neighborhood for, it seems like, forever. I'm supposed to be doing research, but I've got nothing to do my research on. I can't just keep doing this PhD forever without finding someone or some culture or something to do research on.
I tested out a few other ideas of ethnography in the neighborhood when I felt that I wasn't going to meet Plato. Parkdale has a large Tibetan diaspora. I thought I would spend time understanding their everyday life between maintaining tradition and adapting to change. They were playing a game called Show. I told them I was doing research about Parkdale and asked if I could film them playing. They agreed as long as I didn't film their faces. Something about it felt like the most normal ethnographic thing I could do, documenting a situation of radical alterity I didn't have a clue about. But after a while, it wasn't really the ethnography that I wanted to do. I would always be the observer on the outside documenting their lives. I wanted to create the situation of my research and not just observe it. I still felt an unwavering desire to find and work with Plato.
Defend Parkdale! Defend Parkdale! Defend Parkdale!
I tried studying the neighborhood's activist community. Parkdale is gentrifying. People who had lived here their whole lives can't afford to anymore. Rents are increasing through reno-evictions and predatory landlords. How does this happen, and how do people resist the change? I protested and participated, but it still wasn't what I wanted to study. Something about documenting the struggle which wasn't mine didn't sit well with me. I knew I could be an activist, but I still felt more like an extractivist ethnographer than really working towards change. Again, all I could do was document. I still needed to find Plato.
Hyper-reflexive self-criticism endlessly.
I felt like I had hit an ethnographic rock bottom. What was so important about Plato's life that I was able to minimize these other more obvious fieldwork opportunities? Yet I simply could not ignore this singular character even as I agonized over his haunting absence.
Looking upon the great ocean of possibilities. Hello, my name is Dr. Carlos Popper, the conquistador of knowledge. But lately, my friends, I've undergone a sea change. For before, I thought that knowledge is positively, objectively quantifiable. But then, one day, while I was walking along the road, I heard this voice.
Dr. Carlos Popper, it is I, the all-tense. You cannot quantify knowledge, for knowledge is life, and life itself is not quantifiable.
My God! You're right! Oh! I have died and been reborn in the spirit of non-positivism.
finally met. I didn't know what to say, so I followed the script.
I am the non-positivist, Plato.
Well, I'm a PhD student doing ethnographic research, and are you interested in being a research subject, being a participant of my research?
Of course.
Great. Well, I'm doing anthropology, and the big method of ethnography is participant observation. So I'm wondering if I could observe and participate in your culture and learn some of your beliefs and rituals.
Sure.
Could you please share some of your beliefs? Oh, first, wait. Hold on a sec. I need you to fill out a research consent form. I've had this for a long time. I've just been looking for someone to do research with. So if you want to just have a look, it's really just like formal. Kind of talks a bit about the project I had envisioned. And then if you wouldn't mind just signing, you're free to leave the research at any time you'd like. And if you have any questions, my supervisor's contact information is there.
Sort of blank. Anyway, but that's fine. We begin with a sort of blankness, the nothingness that inspires us to achieve.
Great, thank you so much. Wow, this is amazing. So if you could just start, I don't want to get into this too quickly, but I really would love to hear some of your main beliefs.
So, my friends, matter is the harmonic construct of quantum fluctuations, and it is the space of all musical structure. In this case, two-note chords. That is the basic tenet. The rest is commentary.
I know you just told me about your beliefs, but I'm wondering if you could show me through films.
Of course.
Great, let's do it.
It didn't take long for us to break the ice. He wanted to share his ideas, and I wanted to do creative fieldwork. The horizon of possibility was vast and only limited by our imagination. He told me that Plato was a filmic alter ego, and that he went by various other characters to obscure his true identity. He often went by Dr. Carlos Popper. I learned that Dr. Popper had been having a hard time getting his writing published and felt that videos would be more productive. He had for the most part alienated himself from others because of angry and harsh outbursts. I appreciated the honesty and told him I'd be patient with his personality.
I hate Derrida. I hate Derrida intensely. I hate Dali. I hate Dali intensely. I hate people. I hate people intensely. And most of all, I hate myself. I hate myself intensely.
We agreed to help each other. I would help him continue to make films while studying the process and content of our collaboration. At first, our filmmaking focused on him wandering the neighborhood sharing the basic ideas of his revolutionary concept, the musicality of reality.
Hello world! This is Dr. Carlos Popper coming to you from Parkdale, Toronto, Canada. The propounder of the musicality of reality. So welcome to our first episode in which we shall ponder the mysteries of music and reality.
Oh hey, what are you up to?
Oh, hello, typical citizen of Parkdale. My name is David Ross, aka Dr. Carlos Popper, Conquistador of Knowledge, Santiago, and I'm here to promote the idea of the musicality of reality.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm a researcher actually doing my PhD in anthropology from Carleton University in Ottawa. It's kind of on the spirit of the neighborhood and gentrification and change. And I like to just wander around and chat with people. Do you mind if I join you on your walk today? And hear more about your ideas and see what kind of...
We can have a chat and you can record it if you want. You can ask me questions based upon...
Sure.
Like I could say, how does this sound to an anthropologist? So, okay, so Jared, my new friend, how does this sound to an anthropologist?
Well, I think what I would like to maybe expand on, or as my project is really about Parkdale and the lived environment and how the lived environment changes through gentrification, and then what that does to what you could call maybe the spirit of the neighborhood, and the spirit as embodied and lived on the sidewalk, for example, where we are.
Right.
So I wonder if you could talk about how you see the musicality of reality related to, well, I'll ask you a series of questions, but maybe first about the idea of gentrification.
Well, and many people have said that gentrification essentially represents a corporatization of urban space. And by that I mean it's depersonalization. So if you look around us, you can see that the buildings are sort of highly individual. These 19th century, 20th century buildings around here, they're all sort of unique, like small businesses. But with corporate headquarters, you know, these corporate headquarters are so impersonal and anonymous they could be anywhere. And so the individuality and singularity of the neighborhood, the locality, is lost. But if we recognize that everything is musically structured, I think that's really resistance to capitalism, because we can say that the bottom line is not really mass corporate profits. The bottom line is actually living life in a musical way, living life in that sense meaningfully. And so I think that's really the resistance to capitalism that cuts the ground from under it, and sort of building urban movements based upon the recognition and discussion of the musicality of reality would be a way then of resisting this corporate impersonality. And so I think, you know, understanding that everything is a song, and everyone has a song to sing, is a way of linking up with that sort of animistic spirit, that everything is a song, everything has a sort of spirit to it. So everything has sort of the spirit of song. And I think that promoting that idea could build up a sort of consciousness, wave of consciousness, similar maybe to what happened in the 1960s. Now things have to work a bit differently. There has to be some sort of unifying force, maybe ecological disaster, that could allow for that unification force, and integrating that with that consciousness of the music. So I don't have any, unfortunately, ready answers to how we can resist gentrification except by building up consciousness and encouraging people to sing their song. Can we do it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't.
So here we are. It's important. Maybe not. Are you doing?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just
so
go to the square there, and I'll stand here.
So here we are at Tim Hortons, looking around us and seeing to what extent are we in a corporate space or not. It's important to the...
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Well, maybe we'll do it out.
Yeah, sure. After a while, we decided to create a more fictional world together. We would play versions of ourselves in a scenario that mirrored our actual selves within an ethnographic moment. He was a thinker and I a researcher, each of us guided by playful absurdity. This work focused on the process of our eventual meeting. We talked ideas, wandered the neighborhood, and filmed, all the while not taking ourselves or the outcome too seriously.
And ending up, you know, ridiculously and ludicrously, you know, this montage. So, you know, order comes out of chaos. We sort of see or perceive each other as the other, which is ourselves in some way. I think this collaboration, you know, with your image in it as well, somewhere, shows that we're together, that we're sort of parts of the same self in a way, or the same spirit. Thus the community, so communing with the spirit of the place, which of course is the plot of this plotless film.
Oh, how's that possible that someone could be more contemplative than me? This figure standing against the wall with its back towards me. I must turn this figure around and reverse it to see how this person, this researcher, could be more contemplative than me. Here I am, Dr. Carlos Popper, in this miserable blighted burg. What's that I see? It's another antagonist. I know you. You are from the shadows that haunt my dreams. Now I'll have you. Now I have you at my mercy. You, my captive audience. To you I shall tell all the secrets of the universe, and you shall listen to me. The world shall listen to Dr. Carlos Popper, conquistador of knowledge, let me tell you. My sainted father told me about musicality of reality. You have it on your helmet, I see. Impossible. Preempted already. So there we were, the musicality of reality, the sainted father running the streets of Toledo. Told me all about you. And now I will tell you, listen to me, are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? Let me tell you, the world shall know of Dr. Carlos Popper, positive philosopher of Parkdale. You still refuse to acknowledge my greatness of mind. Let me tell you, I'll explain everything to you. Here, take that. I've got you now. Let me explain to you, my friend. This, do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see this? Look at this, the sign of your defeat. This, my friend, is a Mobius strip. That's right. It's what happens when a quark spins. And when a quark spins, it creates a Mobius strip. And do you know what this Mobius strip is? Let me tell you. Are you listening to me? It is the space of two-note chords. Yes, it is a space of two-note chords. Here, I'm gonna put it on you now. You'll wear it as a mark of shame for your ignorance for the rest of your wretched plastic life. I, Dr. Carlos Popper, positive philosopher, have vanquished the adversary.
Only the shadow knows.
Who are you?
Only the shadow knows.
The shadow. Do I know you? Who are you that you are my shadow? Ah, you are my adversary. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
Only the shadow knows.
No knows I shall tell you who and what knows what.
The shadow.
Caramba! I know you. I shall pin this on you. You, my adversary. Oh, where are you? Oh, not there. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. No, no, no. Oh, no, he's there. No. Oh, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. Where is? I shall find him. I come. Oh, there he is. There he is. No, I shall teach you a lesson, sir. You shall where? I shall no. No. I shall get home. Where is he? He's there. All right, let's go to you. I think it's a very powerful, cathartic work, and even if in a ethnographic B-movie format. Because, you know, we have important things to say, and we want to be heard.
Wow, Plato, Dr. Carlos Popper, Plato. I feel like this research is really going well. Like, we've done so much, and it's such an interesting way for you to communicate your ideas without me just writing about them. But yet, I still feel like not totally in the swing of things. Like, I'm still an outsider, and I know anthropologists are supposed to remain objective and be a kind of outsider, but you know, as we say, I think I need to go native. I think I want to join your movement. I want to become a disciple of the musicality of reality so that I can know it better. Well, what do you think?
Well, my friend, to get into the swing of things, you have to understand that all inquirers share a common character, which is their community, but each of us has a different personality. And so, when inquiring into the nature of reality, we're also inquiring into the nature of ourselves. This is what Plato, my forebearer, called self-reflection and self-introspection. So, in effect, my friend, as we swing in life, we are in conversation with ourselves and with others, and in fact our own self is an other to ourselves. So self with other is both intrapersonal and interpersonal. We are always the subjects of our own research into the nature of our reality. And so, one could say, in the swing of things, dance to the music of reality, but only out of the soundness of your own vibrancy.
Right. So, does that mean that I can be a disciple of the musicality of reality?
It means, my friend, that we're always disciples of ourselves, and we only give others a borrowed authority called the teacher. So ultimately, all of life is a transition from growth to death. But in going from beginning to end, you become ultimately your own teacher as you become your own disciple.
So, I'm sorry, I still don't... So yes, I can become a disciple?
Yes, you can, but understanding that ultimately you are your own disciple, and that is showing friendship towards wisdom.
So you want me to become your friend then?
Yes, befriend me and befriend yourself.
Okay, well, you know, anthropologists aren't supposed to become friends with their interlocutors, but I think I'm ready to just shed that traditional skin and really become a friend of yours and a friend of the truth and wisdom that is the musicality of reality.
Yes, and that way you'll shed this positivist skin of traditional anthropology that doesn't recognize its own dialectic. For that is the thing, that's dialectic of character and personality, of friendship towards others and friendship towards yourself as a thinker who is striving to understand one's place in the universe. So dialectically speaking, one befriends wisdom through befriending one's own self as you dance out the music for your own ecstatic existence. But, my friend, before you become a full member of the community, we have to perform the initiation ritual, the rite de passage.
Right, okay, well, I think I'm ready for it.
A ritual circumambulation.
Yeah.
Okay. So it transforms the whole scene from a parking lot to some sort of sacred ritual. We sort of we've reappropriated it and recreated it as a resting place for the sacred. Our own temple, you might say.
Yeah.
The planes, the phone, the leaves, even the very space. None of this was foreseen in advance. I mean, I couldn't imagine shooting it here no matter how hard I thought. But this is the perfect place. We have to find a place that would evoke the sort of mystery, the magic, and the absurdity of it all. And this is it. What our lives have amounted to. And here we are, going around a pile of junk in a parking lot late at night. That's right. Actually, more absurd than that.
Yeah.
And what's your greatest achievement in life? Well, walking along the parking lot around a pile of junk. So we're facing the music of our lives through meditating, contemplating, you would say, I think, upon the junk that our existence apparently is.
Within the musicality of reality and our filmic world, there were open parameters of invitation and possibility. Without being beholden to generate something specific, we could do anything. My daughters, Rose and Hazel, wanted to come along and film. Why not? We made it work and had fun.
Will this be in the movie?
Do you want it to be?
Hello, mister! Why did
Hazel, what does an ethnographic film mean to you?
It means something that's like, it's like filming and stuff. And,
Sure.
And it means a camera is gonna die. It's weird being behind you guys, and people staring. Yes, they do not. Is that gonna be in the
Let's get
movie?
into the picture.
Ow.
And finally, he said to me, one sunny day when the bulls had finished running through the streets of Toledo, he said to me, "My son, I must tell you about the thing that all philosophers seek to know since Plato was not before." I said, "What is it, my father? What is it?" He said, "Consciousness. Consciousness." "Oh," I said, "awareness." "No, not quite, my son. Consciousness is a span, is a bridge that links two different points. One point begins with the soul, and the soul is a number in the brain. For all things, my son, are numbers, ultimately and essentially. So it's a number in the soul. Pi, as the Greeks told us, pi is everywhere. So pi is the soul of number, and soul is the pi, the brain. And he went on. What happens when people are unconscious? When they seem to be dead, and they miraculously come alive. I said, "No, what is that?" He said, "It is because their souls have gone temporarily outside their body into the very fabric of space and time itself. So it's not right to say that there's a soul and there's a body. Rather, the body is the emergent soul." I feel like I need to create a certain quiet space for my character, because otherwise Dr. Popper is always ready to pop off. And some nice contrast, a sort of quiet, meditative contrast, would be necessary. And, with that, I'm sure the film will be nominated for a Grammy or an Emmy or one of these awards. Do you know? No, that's music. Well, one of those awards. And the character will go down in history as the most absurd thinker of all times, next to, what's his name? Socrates. Whatever we say, the meaning of it is always in a sense contingent upon the context, the circumstances of the utterance. Nevertheless, we strive to say something at some point and some time, even though we know what we say is not all that could be said. We acknowledge the mystery of things, but we do not mystify it because we seek to understand it. We seek to account for what we know, but yet at the same time, we know that ultimately we do not know. And so, we do not worship our reason, we do not worship our instruments of measurement. So we maintain the tension of the string, neither too tight nor too loose. It allows us to continue plucking the note, ding, in which we say something, even if what we say cannot be everything that one could say. And so I speak my truth.
Well, Plato, Dr. Carlos Popper, Plato, Popper, if I may call you that, we've become friends over my time here. But you know, every ethnography must come to an end. The researcher must return home and leave the field. So it's been great to know you, but I have to leave. Goodbye. Hi there everyone, thank you for coming to the defense of my dissertation. My name is Jared, and sitting with me is Dr. Carlos Popper, also known at times in the dissertation as Plato, as Ross David, amidst other names. Anyways, so the title of my dissertation is The Rituals and Beliefs of the Musicality of Reality. The musicality of reality is the system of Dr. Carlos Popper sitting next to me. So my project was really about trying to understand what exactly Dr. Popper means by the musicality of reality and the relationship between the ideas and tenets, beliefs and rituals of the musicality of reality
kind of the relationship between these ideas and how they are made manifest in the world. So what is the sort of social reality of these ideas? I think it would be kind of a good way to frame it. Now, in order to sort of address that situation or that context is through what Dr. Carlos Popper and I have called ethnographic B-movies. That is collaborative research together, basically manifesting the ideas of the musicality of reality in a series of short films. To kind of not only to sort of work together to generate research, but also as a way for the ideas of the musicality of reality to be shown and to make them present, not as discursive representation, but the ideas themselves. And it is in that spirit that I have invited Dr. Carlos Popper, the subject of my project, to be present in the defense so that he too can speak for himself within this sort of adjudication of my learning. So just wondering, Dr. Popper, if you wanted to say a few things here, if you'd like.
Well, the first thing I want to say is I'm not here. It's a mere presence, a simulacrum. I'm really a holograph brought here by your own devious means. But I will say this, in the cave, in Plato's cave, we take the images for reality itself. That's it.
Now, that, as confusing as that was, it is part of that sort of atmosphere of confusion that draws me to understanding the musicality of reality and its complexity, and also the complexity of this individual who's not here next to me. What kind of being is Dr. Carlos Popper? Is he a shaman, a leader of a revolution, or someone who's insane?
All of the above.
And that too, I think, addresses some of the main kind of context of my project, is really trying to understand, but without ever fully being able to, another's individuality. I would propose more questions to Dr. Carlos Popper here, but he's not here. So I can open it up now to some questions.
I have a question, if someone's not here.
Okay, so I was meaning the committee on the other side there, but what did you want to?
They're not here either, so that's good. That makes us even. What is your representation of the other? I ask you as the other represented by you.
What is the other's representation? Well, I would say that it is most clearly rendered through what one sees in the films. And the challenge, though, is how to sort of translate or transubstantiate, almost alchemically, the presence as shown through the films versus a discursive rendering.
Impossible, but interesting. Impossible, but interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think it's totally resolved in the writing how I've rendered Dr. Popper, what sort of presence he's assumed. I think the fact that he's not here next to me is a good example of the elusiveness of representation.
If I were here, what would I say? How can I represent myself in the mode of presence which is not present? All right, let's get down to brass tacks here. We have to be empirical. This is actually the academy. Now, speaking as your ghostly other, your father confessor, what have you to confess? How have you sinned in your inquiry or not?
How have I sinned? Well, the biggest sin is my inability to come down one way or the other on who exactly Dr. Carlos Popper is. and a sort of debilitating reflexivity, uncertainty has really driven me to write in a particular way that I'm not altogether proud of.
Write as if no one is watching.
Write as if only your dissertation will read your dissertation.
That's exactly it. Your pass.
I passed?
Because your dissertation has only to read its dissertation. Congratulations. You're now entered the non-existent world of academia, where you'll be the only ghost in the room or the only body among ghosts.
Okay. Let's party.
Around the tree.
Yeah.
The dissertation reads itself. The dissertation reads itself. The dissertation reads itself.